Do you have the time?
Algebra 1
to
students,
listen to
I know
me
you don't have
whine
time to listen to me whine, and I don't have time to listen to you whine, but we both have time to learn about percents, and that's what we're going to do today. So buckle up. Let's do this. So let's take a look at this. Percentages. Now, a percent, if you think about the root words here, the beginning of the word is per, and then the end of it is the part that's interesting to math people, cents. If you think about that cent, sometimes you see it as a prefix like centimeter or century. But basically, when we see the word cent, it's coming, I believe, back from our Latin roots here. That word means 100. So when we see something like number one that says what percent of 60 is 33, we're going to set it up like this. 33 is to 60 as some unknown number is to 100. We can use a little cross products property here. We'll have 60 times x equals 33 times 100. And then we would divide, and as you would expect, I'm fine with you using a calculator on this. 3,300 divided by 60, and we're getting 55%. Okay, you just see the number 55 on the calculator screen, but since we've set this up as a proportion, we know it's going to be a percentage. All right, so what percentage of 120 is 200? Now this one might be a little bit tricky in that you see the larger number is actually on top. So what percent of 120? That word of is key because it tells us that that's the big group. 200 is to 120. Again, we're just going to set it equal to x over 100. Again, cross products property, 120x equals 200 times 100. That's 2 with 4 zeros after it, also known as 20,000. And we just need to do a little division. I'm sure you're punching this in on your calculator as I punch it in on mine. And I'm getting the value there to be 166. And I'm going to go 0.67%. That 6 is actually repeating, so you could do 0.6 repeating if you wanted. You could estimate to a 167%. It doesn't say exactly where it's around, so we're just making a judgment call. All right, go ahead, pause your video and do number 3. All right, welcome back. You can see my notes here. You can see what I've done. 66.67% is what I came up with. Again, I set up the proportion, cross products property, and then one step of division, and we were there. All right, let's change gears just a little bit. We're still working with percentages, but we're going to change the way the questions are asked. Now this says, what is 125% of 62? Now if we stick with our proportion methodology, we can do it like this. 125 is to 100, so your percent always means per 100 as what is 125% of 62? So that's going to be 62 in the denominator. That's 100% of the number, the full number. We're trying to find x. Okay, so we can just simply do a little, again, cross products property. 100x is equal to 125 times 62, and I'm punching that in on my calculator. I really don't want to have to do that in my head if I don't have to. And that's 7750. And then some division will give us our number, 77.5. Now remember, in that case, we didn't find a percentage, we just found a number. It was essentially the number that is 125% of 62. Another way to think about that is what number is 25% bigger than 62? All right, similar kind of question, at least as far as the setup goes. What number is 40% of 720? So we'd say 40 is to 100 as x is to 720. Getting used to that cross products property now. So 40 times 720 would give us 28,800. And one step of division would give us our number 288. So 288 is 40% of 720. 20. Again, go ahead and pause that video. Try number 6 on your own. All right, you can see my work. You can see that my result was 411. So that was the 411 in this case. And one thing I should point out, I understand probably some of you are looking at this and saying, "Hale, you're doing this all wrong. There's a simpler way." And I totally understand that. I'm with you. And for instance, on number 5, instead of setting up the whole proportion, had we simply just said, well, 40% of 720, that's 720 times zero point 0.4, we'd have our answer really quickly. I'm showing you this proportion methods because there are times when the way we ask the questions could get a little confusing as far as which number goes where, and I just feel like these proportions are a lot safer way to do it, a way that will work regardless of which way we ask the question. We kind of run into that here, find each base. So 60% of what number is 75? So what that's asking is 60 is to 100 as 75 is to your unknown. So in this case, instead of instead of being able to multiply by zero point 0.6, we'd actually have to divide, and that can kind of get confusing. So we're just going to use, again, our proportions coupled with the cross products property. So I've done the cross product property there, and then a little division, pull out the trusty TI-84, and I'm getting 125. So same setup on number 8, 5%, that's 5 is to 100, as 4.1 is to some unknown. So we would know then that 5x, I'm really failing here. I didn't follow my color coding. What's going on? All right, we'll live with it. 5x is equal to 410. We can divide both sides by 5, and x would be 82. So 5% of 82 is 4.1. One interesting thing, if you wanted to check an answer on a question like this, pretty simple way to do it, 82 times 0.05, see what you get. If you get 4.1, you know you've done it right. All right, again, go ahead and pause this video, and let's do number 9 on our own. I've been able to accomplish two things. First of all, I solved number 9. You can see the work here, 68 is to 100, is 64.6 is to our unknown, cross products property, division, and our value there was 95. 95 was the original number there. Also, you'll note that I fixed the color coding on number 8. That makes me feel a lot better about the value of these nodes. All right, a couple of application problems to finish us off. A set of golf clubs that are regularly $600 are on sale for 40% off. They've been discounted. What is the new sale price? Okay, so here we go. We've got $600 originally, but they're discounted 40% off. One thing we should think about, there are a couple ways to approach this. The way I prefer is to think, all right, if they're 40% off, that means we're still paying 60%. So when it comes down to it, what I want to find is actually 60% of 600. So I can go 60 is to 100 as x is to 600. A little cross products property. You've heard that phrase from me a few times today. So 100x is equal to 36,000, and then division just knocks off 2 zeros, so that would be 360. It is an application / story problem. We should answer that with a label, and I think that would do the trick right there. $360. All right, one more, and you'll see this kind of problem in your homework assignment as well. Savings account is earning 7% simple interest each year. Simple interest means it's not compounding. Usually banks compound interest, so you gain interest on interest, but we're just doing a simple interest for this problem. Last year, the account earned $294 in interest. In other words, $294 represents 7% of the original balance, and it says what was the account balance at the beginning of last year. So we're going to do 7 is to 100 is 294 is to x. So I know that 7x then would equal $29,400. 400. And this problem just got a lot simpler because all we have to do is divide, and we would see that x was equal to 4,200, which means at the start of last year there were $4,200 in the account. Again, a simple way to check your work on a problem like this would be to go ahead and just take 4,200 and multiply it by 0.07. You'd see that you would get 294, and that matches with what we saw in the problem given to us. All right, folks, I hope this application of percentages is working for you. Again, come to class ready to work. If you have questions, I'll be happy to work with you. Next time I see you, have a great day.